Hello, I'm Dr. Jonathan Kukor, a doctor of Oriental Medicine with Orlando Alternative Health. I'm joined here today by my colleague, Dr. Carlos Chapa of Dallas, Texas. And we just kind of want to sit down here and during this kind of uncertain time, discuss some things, specifically immune boosting techniques and our experiences with traditional Chinese medicine. And many people may not know, traditional Chinese medicine has been used heavily in China, specifically Wuhan, at the beginning of this coronavirus outbreak as an amazing adjunct in conjunction with Western medicine to help patients quickly and more efficiently get through the virus itself. Right, Carlos?
Yeah, a lot of people just are unaware, and we've had many inquiries, emails, phone calls, both of us, even though we're in different states, about what can be done, other than taking, of course, herbal medicines, maybe acupuncture, things like this. And we thought this would be a good time to maybe do a quick video.
Definitely. So we just kind of want to touch on some things here today that you can do yourself at home to support your immune system and just kind of some other things that maybe you have not considered. So the first thing we're going to touch on is emotions. Like I said, there's a lot of stress right now, a lot of fear going on with people based on just the uncertainty and the unknown and the potentials for what may happen as the virus spreads and kind of goes. So as I was saying, as the virus spreads, there's just kind of some uncertainty and people really are hit with the unknown, and that's creating a lot of emotional issues. So in traditional Chinese medicine, we look at how the emotions will affect the body. So think about it from a Western standpoint, biomedically. That will, when we're experiencing a lot of fear, this fight or flight response will be activated. What does that do? That creates extra stress on the body, which in turn does not help to support your immune function, which obviously is something we want to focus on right now. The lungs specifically, we're thinking about with the coronavirus. So we're also going to elaborate further a little later in this video about some things you can do to support the lungs specifically. So Carlos, you have any thoughts?
Sleep. You know, I think there's a reason why there's a Starbucks on every other corner. We are sleep deprived. And even though most of us know better that we should sleep at least 6, 7, maybe even 8 hours, the fact is that most of our patients, and including ourselves, we don't do such a great job on it. So, you know, that is one of the best things for us in general. And not only that, but it helps with the mood, helps with the clarity in the mind. But it is amazing that how much it can and it does help all of us.
Definitely, totally agree. I don't know about you, clinically, I would say I just feel like probably at least 50% of the population is sleep deprived or has some issue with their sleep patterns.
I think mine's more like 78 plus, so yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. So next I'm going to talk about something that is very dear to my heart, and that is exercise. So exercise can be an amazing stimulant to help to boost your immune system. Additionally, I want to say with that I'm not talking about going out and hitting CrossFit 10 times in a 7-day period. That may be something that normally calls to you, but we don't want to overly exert our lungs that we were talking about before. So not super high intense exercise, but some things that we really recommend are practices such as yoga, and not overdoing it on some very intense like workout style yoga. you can possibly do a little bit of that, but I would focus more on like yin yoga, some very gentle and restorative yoga. Also with Chinese medicine, Tai Chi is a very amazing moving experience. It will help internally, emotionally, as well as moving fluids throughout your body, those different fascia planes that we have internally, and create a lot of really good immune support.
And walking. Nice, brisk walk. I tell my patients 15, 20 minutes a day does have a huge impact. So if you're not ready for yoga, which there's a lot of great videos on YouTube and whatnot, go for a walk. Seriously, 15, 20 minutes, brisk walk.
Yeah, totally agree. It's a great idea. Another thing along those lines is, may have heard, if you haven't, I'm not really sure where you've been, but hand washing has great viral and bacterial preventative measures, and just simple hand washing, paying attention to that, where you're doing things like sneezing, coughing, going to the bathroom. Don't know how many times I've unfortunately seen men in the men's room not pay attention to these things, but just simple hand washing. Make sure you're paying attention to that. Before you're touching your face, wash your hands.
Soap and water. I know those Perels and those things are good. And I was a former ER nurse and paramedic. We always talk about this, that's good at that moment, but that does not replace soap and water. So, and like John said, avoid the face, and if you're coughing and whatnot, just wash the hands.
Definitely. Another thing that may seem simple is hydration. In traditional Chinese medicine, we look at the temperature of food, fluids, and how that will affect your body internally. So with regards to something simple like water, which is low impact fluid on your body, obviously a lot of our tissue is comprised of water. Room temperature water is what we suggest. Cut out the ice cubes. In many cases, depending upon where you're at, even looking at some warmer beverages, not the latte, but maybe like a nice hot tea. Got some great ones that I carry specifically. I know that. I think Carlos does as well. But warming fluids, that will be more productive for your digestive system. And additionally, the coronavirus seems to really thrive with the cold temperature. So that heat is something that traditional Chinese medicine teaches us we want to utilize. Along with that, cooked foods we look at, as opposed to a salad, will be very cold in nature. Steamed spinach, easier on the digestion, less taxing, still some great nutrition there. And another thing with that is we can look at our diet in general and just fruits, vegetables, good foods to help boost and support that immune system.
Definitely. And also not just the temperature of the foods, but also the nature of the foods. So for example, ginger, a little ginger tea would be amazing, a little lemon compared to barley or watermelon or pears, which I love all those things, but for this case it's better to stay in the warmer side. So once again, we're talking about temperature of the food and the nature of the food and drinks as well.
Love that. The ginger tea tastes so good too. So next, I think you were going to touch on something that very prevalent in our society, tied with a lot of our social functions, but something maybe we want to think about a little bit given what is going on.
Alcohol. Everyone knows it's not really good for us. Not only is it dehydration an issue, it's not good for the skin, it's not good for the mind, it's not good when you drive. But especially in these times, it's better to avoid as much as possible. I go to quite a bit of social events, and I learned quickly that I can finish a big thing of beer in 5 minutes, but I can get a little glass of wine or a little scotch or something, and I can babysit that drink all night long, actually. So it's better that you avoid it, but if you have to, a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. Alcohol, like I said, so prevalent in our social experience in society. One thing with alcohol, getting back to how we look at the nature of things that we consume, alcohol creates what we call a lot of dampness internally in the body in Chinese medicine. And adding alcohol to your diet can, for many people, cause a little more of a buildup of this dampness. So something to consider and be aware of, that we don't want to do things to help the virus affect us. We're looking at trying to boost our system and be as proactive as we can. So I think Carlos gave some great ideas. If you can abstain completely, obviously the best, but be very mindful in your decisions. And then kind of getting close to the end of our suggestions here, air quality. The lungs and the respiratory system is what we're looking at specifically here. So this will probably, like the recommendation for alcohol, not make some people happy, but marijuana. A lot of people smoke it. A lot of people enjoy it. It does have a lot of great benefits, and more research is coming out as far as that. However, let's think about how smoking is taxing on the lungs. Whether it's cigarette smoke, marijuana smoke, adding that in is just right now probably not something that you want to do, given what we're faced with. Additionally, air quality outside, those of us that are in more industrial areas, in cities with high levels of pollution, you might want to be careful of where you go if you're able to avoid those sorts of things. Take measures, additional measures at the workplace if you work at an industrial job. If there's things you can implement to improve the air quality that you're taking in, just try to do things to avoid any extra stress on the respiratory system.
Including e-cigarettes. I don't even know what's in there anymore, but once again, it just, we all know it's not good for us. But especially with what's going on right now, it's just best to just avoid.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you added that, because I know those are so popular, and there's some controversy with those right now. Sure. But just, as far as what we're talking about with immune system boosting, anything taxing like that, let's try to stay away with it. So we're going to kind of wrap up here a little bit. I hope you all have enjoyed our video here. Of course, make sure with anything you are consulting a medical professional. If you have any health questions, look at your local acupuncturist. Has great herbal solutions to really help you when you're under the weather. In the face of the unknown here, a herbal consultation could be something very beneficial that you want to check out. Again, I am Jonathan Kukor, Doctor of Oriental Medicine with Orlando Alternative Health.
And Dr. Carlos Chapa in Dallas, Texas.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.